What's going on YouTube? Welcome in, I am LiboATM again, as always. Thank you for coming back to the channel. This is our next installment of the Tome Time series, where I'm going to be taking a look at Tome 7, Part 4. I'm going to go through all of the challenges and give you guys some hints and tips how to navigate these in the most efficient manner. A lot of the ones on this tome compared to the previous one are very sort of just you will accomplish them anyway. They're just very grindy. So I'm going to, instead of separating out into killer and survivor, I'm just going to cover the full tome in one. And instead of giving you like builds in specific, just give you hints and tips of like what perks to bring, what you should and shouldn't be doing, to try and get these done as quickly as possible. So a lot of challenges to get through. We'll start at the beginning and we'll go through. Okie dokie, first challenge is fully deplete 6 medkits. So, as I said, you'll do this naturally anyway. The way I achieved it and the way I would recommend to do it is to bring a brown medkit in if you can, and use it. Also bring in a perk pairing of pharmacy and plunderers. That basically will guarantee that the first chest that you loot in the trial, you will get another medkit. So you can get a minimum of 2 medkits done per trial, which obviously you can cover it off in 3 games instead of 6. You could get lucky and get more medkits from chests than that, but at least you know if you bring pharmacy, then you're guaranteed a medkit, so you've got a minimum of 2 per game. The next one in the survivor side is hide within 10 meters of the killer without being caught for 120 seconds. Again, this is one you'll do naturally throughout the games that you're playing. But I would recommend is to play this on Midwich, if you can bring a Midwich map operating, because if you are on the top floor and the killer's on the bottom floor, that registers you within being distance of the killer, and you're never in any real danger. So like if you like bring Bond, for example, and you're on Midwich and you know the killer is chasing someone on the floor beneath you, you can just kind of track their movements if you're just trying to like cheese this trophy. You could just play it on Midwich and get better progress than you would in kind of game to game anyway. So that would be my recommendation. Do it on Midwich, and bring Bond so you can kind of see who's being chased where, and you can maybe like align your movements to that sort of idea. The next one is drop 10 pallets while being chased by the killer. There's not really any tips I can give you for this, just engage in chases, so maybe stick on a build or some perks that are going to help you in chase, maybe a few second chance perks, things like that, dead hard maybe. If you're going to be actively seeking out chases. The next one is repair a total of 10 generators while cooperating with other survivors. This one is really badly worded. So I did this challenge over 2 matches, and I only actually done I think two gens per match, and I think only co-opted one of them, as in did it with another person. But because I was still alive in the trial while 5 generators get done, it registered on this challenge as 5 gens while co-oping with other survivors. So I'm assuming this just means like while you're in a trial and there's other survivors, every gen that gets done in that trial counts towards this. I don't know if that's a bug or that's not meant to happen and you're meant to do it by sitting on a gen with someone. If that is the case and they fix it, then just run prove thyself, because you get faster gen progress and more blood points. But this one, if it's the way that I managed to achieve it, was literally just get to the end game of 2 games of survivor and you'll have cleared this one off. So whatever build you would run to give you the best chance of survival. Stun or blind the killer 12 times. Again, this is another one you'll do naturally. Obviously bring a flashlight if you can. But there's plenty of other perks you can bring that will help you kind of move this along. Like you could bring Head On, you could bring Decisive Strike, you could bring Power Struggle, Blast Mine, Flashbang. All these things are perks that you can use within the trials that will get you like points towards this. And then obviously if you pallet stun or blind them with a flashlight, then obviously you'll get as many as you need to. But those additional perks can help kind of speed up the process a little bit. The next one is get 12 great skill checks. Again, fairly straightforward. You'll do it naturally without much issue. Probably the best way you could do this is like other perks you could bring. You could bring stakeout again. So if you're within the killer's terror radius for X amount of time, it converts any good skill checks you get into greats via tokens. This is not happening. So if you're injured, the success areas of the great skill checks are bigger, things like that. There's a couple of perks you can bring that will help you achieve this a little bit quicker if you're not used to going for great skill checks every time you do them. Escape the trial through the hatch while carrying a map. Do this one time. This one's a bit of a bit annoying for me because like usually if I have an escape through the hatch one, I'll either put on Plunderer's build, which will give me a greater chance of finding a key in the trial, or I'll bring a key in, stash it early in the trial, and then go back and find the hatch later on. But obviously you need to escape via the hatch with a map. So the probably the best way to do this one is if you can do it with someone and someone can bring the map and someone can bring the key, and you can get to the end game, then you can kind of co-op it that way. Otherwise than that, you're just kind of, this one is more, there's not really any tips I can give you. It's very game specific. You need to get to a situation where the hatch is open and you can escape with a map. So there's not really much tips I can give you on that one. So red herring trial, tricky. You have the killer come within 15 meters of a generator targeted by red herring after the perk activates within 30 seconds. Do this 2 times. So my advice to do this is, it's a bit of a risky one, but obviously the way you activate red herring is obviously activating it, leaving and jumping into a locker. So what I would do is, if you were working on a gen and you have the ability to activate red herring, do it when you become within the killer's terror radius. Miss a skill check soon after that to attract their attention to the gen, and then quickly run off and jump into a locker. So I would say you'd probably want stuff like, you would probably want, along with red herring, you'd want quick and quiet to hide you jumping into the locker, and then you need to kind of hope that they're not going to catch on when you attempt to do it the second time in the trial. But yeah, I would just run quick and quiet with your red herring, just so you can kind of quickly get to the locker and go in kind of silently. This one, there's no tips necessary, just escape a trial while running off the record. Just cut and dry. Same with the next 2, earn 10 iridescent emblems and commune with blue glyph 2 times. And so again, not much I can give you with that. Just run your best build and just grind away until you get the emblems and find the glyphs. The last 2 survivor ones is escape the trial while carrying an ultra rare item 2 times. So again, you want to do this with items that are going to give you the best chance of escaping a trial. So for example, any ultra rare or better key with the add-ons that don't allow it to be consumed by the hatch, or a purple med kit, for example, because that will get you multiple heal states and your likelihood of reaching the end of the trial will increase because you are continually able to heal yourself. So that would be my advice for that one. And then heal a total of 12 health states of other survivors. Again, this is stuff that like you can run heal build for. Like you'll have, like, you could run like obviously your botany desperate measures, we'll make it, autodidact, all these perks that give you benefits for healing other survivors. Again, you'll do this naturally from just playing the game, from like unhooking people and healing them. So the best thing you can do is just bring perks that will allow you to do that more efficiently. Just that will give you help within the trial. Right, so we've hit the reset button. We're now going to go through the killer ones of the shrine. So we have got knock down 25 survivors. Again, not really much advice I can give you on that one. Just play killer repeatedly. The next one is make survivors scream 60 times. So there's a few perks you can run that can help you with this one. You can have infectious fright. You could have dragon's grip. You could have, there's a few others, but again, you'll only get the scream sporadically. The best way to do this is just play as Doctor and continually shock people. Just keep shocking people. Every time you shock them, as long as they're not running Cam Spirit, they will scream, and you can clear this off maybe in a game or 2. It's not going to be too demanding for you. The next one is chase survivors for a total of 300 seconds. Again, the only advice I can give for this one, I think I gave in the previous tome as well, is you don't want to go killers who are incredibly oppressive in chase. So you don't want to be going Huntress, you don't want to be going Deathslinger, you don't want to be going Nemesis. You want killers who have a healthy chase. And again, also, yeah, avoid people like Spirit and Wraith and Ghostface, who, when you're cloaked or undetectable, you don't register the chase point. So like you kind of want to hit this with like your Doctors, your Legions, people like that who are going to get the full benefit of the chase points. Next one, again, fairly self-explanatory. Catch one survivor in a bear trap, and then reset it in the same place. So again, this is just down to your placement of traps as Trapper. Depending on what kind of level you're at, you'll probably catch people fairly easily in lower ranks by putting it places like pallets and windows. When you get to kind of red ranks, you're going to want to be a bit more bit more subtle about your trap placement, so it just depends on where you place them. But basically, as long as you catch someone in a bear trap, just make sure that after you've downed them or whatever, you reset the trap before you pick them up and head on your merry way. Or if you hook them first, make sure you go back to that trap and reset it. So avoid running like iridescent stone for this one, because you don't want the traps resetting by themselves. The next one is hook the obsession 12 times. So my advice for this one would be play a killer that you're comfortable with and that you have the perk Nemesis and Enduring on. And basically the benefit of that is every time you are stunned by a pallet or anything by a survivor, they become your obsession and they become oblivious for 50 seconds. So they become your obsession, and then you can kind of use the fact that Enduring reduces your stun by 50%. And you can quickly get back on their trail, and because they're oblivious, you can maybe catch them out. Usually I'll run this with Oni, and I'll use the kind of the gauntlet add-on to allow me to see people as they run through blood orbs and do it on an indoor map, because the oblivious stat effect really helps you if you can come out from behind corners without people knowing you're there. It just gets you a bit more kind of value, and the fact that Nemesis recycles your obsession means you can get anywhere up to potentially 12 obsession hooks in one game. I would doubt you would get it in one game. It's possible, but you'll get it in a lot less time than you would if you're just running it with one obsession, and you can get a maximum of 3 hooks per game. The next one is catch 2 survivors in a bear trap while in chase with them. Again, there's not any specific tips I can give you for this other than pre-set up traps in an area and try and push survivors into them while you're chasing it. Try and put them in places that don't appear obvious, so that you catch them off guard. Be aware, remember that obviously the optimum pathing for survivors is to hug walls and corners as close as they can, so you can take advantage of that. But again, this will just come naturally playing as trapper. Damage 20 generators. Again, you can do this naturally. Don't go out of your way to continue to do it when you're pressuring survivors, but you could add on additional perks like pop, oppression, eruption, dragon's grip, all perks that get you benefit for kicking generators. So if you are having to go out of your way to do it, then you're at least getting some sort of benefit across the trial and the match for doing that. Again, you'll do it across games anyway, it just depends on how many it takes you, but at least run it with perks that will get you some sort of benefit from having to do it. And finally, kill 15 survivors by any means necessary. I don't have, again, any specific advice for this one. It's fairly self-explanatory. Just go in and kill as many people as you can. If you do it as efficiently as you can, you'll clear it off in 4 matches. So I would just advise you to play with the killer that you're strongest with if you want to do it as quickly as possible. Right guys, that's Tome time for Tome 7 Part 4, done and in the books. Again, this was kind of like a thrown together one, because again, the stuff isn't very survivor specific, shall we say, or killer specific. It's just stuff you'll do naturally. There's just certain perks or things you can do that will speed up the process. Again, thank you so much for joining me. As always, I've been LiboATM. Please like the video, please subscribe to the channel. Please come follow me over on twitch.tv/LiboATM, where I stream Dead by Daylight. There will be more Tome times coming out. I'm probably going to start way back at 7 Part 1 and 7 Part 2 just to complete this current Tome, and then I'll probably go all the way back and start from Tome 1 and work the way through. I think that's the way I'm going to do it, but I'll wait and see. So until I see you guys next time, have fun and best of luck in the trials. Hopefully this has helped, and well, when I see you next, peace.